Now, well, I was gonna start this a specific way and I completely forgot it. Shoot. It's okay. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's listening, because we are now on episode 4, and we really appreciate you listening. So,
Yay! Thank you.
Here we go. So, for this first segment, actually, a little bit of backstory for this. We recorded this episode, and this was going to be episode 3, and it didn't end up happening because both of us were worn out that day, and we were just not really up to, recording a podcast. So it didn't go well.
It was not a quality episode.
It was not a quality episode. So what I'm gonna do is, but it did have its own bits. It's like parts that were enjoyable. So
Right.
What I'm gonna do is play for you guys this story, and then we'll meet you guys back on segment 2.
All right.
It's a story that happened to me today that was very eventful, and I messed up. I'd like to say that. I messed up dramatically, and it caused pain to people, both physical and emotional.
It's all right.
So,
we don't forgive you.
Okay, fair enough. Never mind. So basically, today is a Tuesday. It's October 17th, 2017, and on Tuesdays, me and my sister carpool to school because we go to the same school, but we don't. But only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so we were getting ready. We were going to run late. So I decided to make my morning tea, which, if you didn't know, I really like tea, and sometimes I have it in the morning. So I put the boiling water and the tea bag in there, in this paper cup, this travel cup, to, steep. And unfortunately, it wasn't done steeping by the time we had to go, or else. And so I pack up a little tiny baggie, a Ziploc baggie with the right amount of sugar, and then I get a little tiny Tupperware container, put some half and half in there, which is like a cream milk mixture that I add to tea, because cream and sugar is the best way to make black tea. This is black tea. And so I bring all of that with me, and so I can make it in the car while she's driving. And so what happens is I am holding my hot tea and my sugar, so I open up the sugar and I dip it in there, like put it in there and stir it up, and that worked really well. But this is really hot tea, so I need to get this cream in. So I'm trying to open up this cream container, but I was like, I can't do this with both hands. So I set down my tea that doesn't have a lid on it, and we're about to turn fairly sharply at 35 miles per hour to get onto the freeway. And so I go through this panic that lasts for like a second before I messed up dramatically. So basically what happens is I never get the container open, and the tea that I had placed on the center console, because I'm an idiot, it spills all over my sister, who was driving.
Ooh.
It was very hot tea, and it was burning my hand through the cup, and it spills all over her.
That's not good.
Okay. Luckily, she didn't, there's no really bad burns because it was a cold day, so she was wearing multiple layers. But it was eventful. Instead of getting on the freeway, we continued to go straight. We turned left onto this dead-end road. And then I was so angry at how stupid of a move I made. I was actually punching my leg to punish myself. Have you ever seen Harry Potter or read Harry Potter?
Yeah.
You know how Dobby the house elf punishes himself for making a mistake?
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. I was punching my leg because I messed up so royally.
That's, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, just a PSA out there. Don't do that, because
It's a bad idea.
it was a bad idea. Luckily, it wasn't like a major thing. It hurt in the moment, but I don't think it's going to bruise or anything. But, yeah, so we park over, we pull out. She gets out of the driver's seat, takes off her jacket, or her, over jacket, and then we drive to school. And she is wet, and I'm wet with tea stains on my pants as well. It was chaotic. And actually, in regards to hurting myself for messing up, I was going to do, we were on the freeway which some people call a highway. You call it only a highway, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, okay. So what we call the freeway, other people call a highway, which are two entirely different things, and I can talk about that for ages. But we are on the freeway, we're heading to school, and I'm like thinking, this is the PSA part. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna punch myself in the face as hard as I can because I messed up. But then I was like, this won't solve anything, and I'm just gonna calm down. So think about that whenever you feel like you should punish yourself. You probably shouldn't.
Good idea. Don't ever hurt yourself. It will only make the situation worse. This has been official endorsed anti self-harm PSA by the Segmented Podcast.
Exactly. There we
Also,
go. That's my story time.
don't set hot tea down in a quickly moving vehicle. That's also just not smart.
Yes, that's stupid, and you will regret it. So, yes, make your tea before you go. That's my PSA. That's my lesson learned. Don't try to make tea in a moving vehicle. Unless it's like an RV. I mean, you can go for that. I mean, you have a lot of space to move around in there, and we'll probably just spill on the ground, but make your tea before you drive.
That's the moral of the story.
Yes, that is the moral. And that concludes the segment. Segment 2.
Hold on, no. Did you
What?
Did you say your ears were plugged?
Yes, my ears are plugged, and it's very frustrating to me.
Does that make it difficult to listen to me?
Well, it's normally difficult to listen to you.
Oh, I see how it is. All right.
Yes. Why do you ask?
I was just asking, see if it made me more or less bearable. But what were you talking about next segment?
Okay, segment 2. This is a series or a segment that we want to do because I think it would be really fun to like give you guys updates. So for those who are unfamiliar with what a Tamagotchi is is a little tiny keychain, like a virtual pet that was on a keychain, and they were huge in the 90s. And you would like have a Tamagotchi, and you had to clean up after it, and then you had to feed it and play games with it, and just keep it happy and fed and give it energy. So there's this game that can be found on the Google Play Store, Apple, I don't know, basically everything, and it's called Wildagotchi. Or Wildagotchi. It's probably Wildagotchi, but that's irrelevant. And basically, it's a Tamagotchi, and it's a virtual pet. So, how this is laid out is you open up the app, and then you can choose from a bunch of pets. You can select for a starting of 3 pets, of a gorilla, a wolf, or a panda, and then you have to raise it up, and once you get 2 to the adult stage, you can unlock more. So, this is not sponsored by Wildagotchi, so if we hate it or hate something about it, we will tell you because we can complain about it because we're not being paid to say this. So if you want, you can just get it from the App Store or wherever. It's called Wildagotchi, Wildagotchi. Boom. Wow, what a mouthful. So basically, every time we do this segment, we're going to be updating you guys on these pets. And I thought it would just be something funny and ridiculous that we do. So, I have 3 adult pets. How about you, Tendo?
As do I. I have 3.
Okay. So, I have my female gorilla, Harambe, and my male wolf, Jorge, and my male panda, Misen. What pets do you have?
Alright, so I got my male gorilla named Gorinzu.
That's a good name.
I got my female wolf named Slinmop.
That's a terrible name, but that's fine.
And my personal favorite, my male panda named Koek.
Did you just smash your keyboard and then that's what came out?
I may or may have not.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine. So... Oh, wow. Harambe's still sleeping. Oh, shoot. But you've been sleeping for, like, the past day. Why are your energy so low? Okay, so... Harambe is my favorite one. She's just adorable. And also, something that I wanted to mention to you. When you get to the adult stage, it does this kind of hand wave. Do you have your gorilla up?
Let me wake him up. Oh yeah, it does like a little flappy arms, like
Yeah. So what I noticed is when it goes from a teenager to the adult, it looks like they're flipping you off. So
yeah, yeah.
that's fun. In addition, I think that they all start out really, really cute, and then they get really ugly. Are like, have you noticed that?
I can't argue with that. No.
Except I think the only one that gets like actually really cute, like at the adult stage, is the wolf.
I was gonna say I think the wolf stays pretty much the same. Just
Yeah,
getting
pretty
larger.
cute throughout.
They don't actually have like the physique of like an adult animal. It's like trying to still have like the cute body, but it's larger, and so it's just really awkward and kind of scary.
Very.
So right now I'm just playing some games with my gorilla because I kind of left him for 2 days without doing anything. So everything is just as low as possible. So
Fair enough. The way that mine works is if you like leave them to, or if you like select a different pet, all the other pets won't be, they won't grow or anything.
But whatever one that was last selected will continue to progress.
Okay, so we are doing our best to take care of them, except for that was really loud. Sorry. Except for me, what we were going to do is get a new pet on the podcast for our first segment of this, and what I didn't tell Tendo that I did was I got one. I got one beforehand. I got the Brontosaurus, but it's not what you think. It was to see if he could die, and I've been torturing him for the past day.
Oh my goodness! What?
So he's currently sick. He has no hygiene, no fun, no hunger, and his energy is above half. So I'm trying to kill him to see if he can die.
You're trying to kill your...
Well, kind of. If you can think about it that way if you want. But I'm just trying to see. It's an experiment. It's for science.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I'm killing an extinct animal for science. Anyway, I will give you guys updates to see if they can die next time we do the segment. And, you know, I guess, Tendo, would you like to select a new pet?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Hold on. Let me get my gorilla sleeping. I just got all of his stuff back up.
I forgot that I named my Brontosaurus. Guess what I named him?
What did you name him?
I named him Gonna Die.
No. Alright. I'm gonna get my hippo here. We're gonna have a female hippo.
Okay, then I'll take a giraffe and I'll make him male.
Alright.
I'm gonna name him.
Tell me what the first and last letter of this hippo's name should be.
The first one is H, and the last one is an L. Okay, what's the first and last letter of my name?
P and T.
P and a T. His name is Pert. Pert the giraffe. Aw, how cute. Aw, all of his stats are so low. Let's give him some food. Here, have some leaves, Pert.
My hippo's name is, hold on, get out of your little crib first, okay? I need to see your name. Is Hyoxkakul.
Hyoxkakul. That's great.
Alright, what do you got for food, Noah? Let's look at the food lineup you got for your giraffe.
So I have some leaves, some water. This is basically just for the panda. Like, the same thing as the panda. And I also have some different kind of leaves.
Oh,
What do you have?
Because it's giraffe. I always thought the water bottle was a piece of chicken or a bottle of liquor. But as you say, water now.
Probably liquor. That would make sense.
My hippo, I think, has an apple. Either that or it's a very small pumpkin. But yeah, I have an apple. And now I want to just basically spoil this animal.
Don't do it, Tendo. Let's see what I have for games. I have Obstacles Rain. Really? All of them have Obstacles Rain.
Okay,
What game do you have?
I am going to do a test, though. I'm going to see what happens if I don't have any fun with my giraffe. I'll take care of everything, but no fun whatsoever.
Oh, man. No fun intended. I think you age slower if one of your stats is down low.
All right. So,
So-
what do you got for games there for your giraffe?
I just have an obstacles rain. That's all I have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you
so-
have for your hippo?
you know,
Because I
in
have
f-
obstacles rain for my brontosaurus too.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah.
the hippo has a different game. The hippo, if you guys are not following along, in order to increase their fun, you have to play a game with them. I
Yes,
thought they
sorry.
all had their own unique games, but I guess these
Nope.
have the same ones. So hippo has one that is called platforms, and so
Oh
you're-
yeah.
yeah, you're on a moving platform, and it's like the infinite jump with the panda, except you can only go up. And if you play it, you can see what I'm talking about. So you have to time every single jump when the platform you're standing on and the platform above you line up to jump. Otherwise, you miss it.
Okay, I'm getting a male hippo. I'm gonna name him. I need 2 letters.
2 letters.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say an E and a R.
Eber. It's like Uber, but worse. Okay. So we will be keeping you guys up with these meaningless little pets. Hopefully we won't kill them unless well, I'll do a test on that. I'll see if my brontosaurus can die. And if it can, then we will take better care of them. If not, then I mean, you can just leave it there. And
Life is meaningless. You could do whatever you want and everything will be fine.
yep. Congrats on staying clean. I hope you become a zebra.
Stuck in space? Just get naked.
My apologies. I meant anime is terrible. Suicide is great.
What? Speak for yourself. Everyone loves World War II.
There are only 2 genders. Pizza with arms and pizza without arms.
Wake up, Chipotle.
This is the sort of genocide I can get behind.
I'd put that turd in my mouth if I found it in retail.
Don't say you're cold unless you move backwards in time.
The first few times I tried, it were great, but when I merged with a door and became a Jew in a concentration camp, it wasn't so much fun.
Segment 4. That was out of context.
Yeah.
If you were confused as to what was going on, basically we went to the subreddit r/nocontext. Link will be in the show notes. And we took things that weren't highly inappropriate, that we found funny, that are completely out of context, and they're funny out of context, and we just said them. So, if you were a little confused, there you go. You're not confused anymore. I would highly suggest checking that out. It's really funny. However, it's very, very inappropriate. There are some
Mostly innuendos.
yes, and also a lot of swearing, and sometimes just straight up messed up stuff. So, I mean, I would suggest it. It's funny because there's like great bits, but also it's I wouldn't say not safe for work per se, but the language is definitely so be wary, but also it's a pretty good laugh. So segment 4, this is actually a fan favorite, I'd say.
A returning segment, you say,
It's a
Noah?
returning segment, the first returning segment that we have.
Wow.
So the one that we're gonna be doing, give us a drum roll, Tendo. 60-second improv stories.
Yeah. Woo, woo.
There we go. So, if you do not remember the rules of this game, each of us will bring to the table a name, a nonsense word, and a place. The other person has 60 seconds to create a story based off that, completely off the top of the head, and then it's exactly 60 seconds. So,
Yeah.
Tendo, would you like to go first?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get up a timer first for when I do it for you. Am I doing my are you giving me words first?
Yes.
All right. So, I suppose you have the timer cuz I shouldn't know how much time I have left. Isn't that how we
Yes,
did it?
I have a timer. I will tell you 30 when you have 30 seconds left.
All right.
Okay. So, your name is Borgio.
Borgio?
Borgio. You have to use it
Borgio.
as a name. The place is on a spaceship that is about to explode. And your nonsense word is Hazmatoke.
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 Borgio, and
Borgio.
Hazmatoke.
Yep, and on a spaceship that's about to explode.
All right.
You have 60 seconds on the clock, starting now.
All right. So, Al, his name is Al. He walked into the Borgio coffee shop on the Great Space Station of the Gravmatab. That's not the nonsense word, but that's the name of the spaceship. Anyway, so he's going to make his coffee or whatever, and he notices that they have sugar, they have milk, but they are out of Hazmataz. And he's asking, hey, where's the Hazmataz? And they're like, hey, we needed all of the Hazmataz because the spaceship is blowing up. And he's like, what are you talking about? I thought this was the most
30.
secure spaceship in the world. That's why we have a coffee shop inside of it. And then suddenly, the captain of the ship runs in, and he's like, we need more Hazmataz. And the coffee shop owner is like, I'm sorry, we're all out. This other dude just walked in and took the rest of it. And then Al turns around and says, you lied to me. You said they needed it for the ship. And they said, yes, but his cup of coffee was nearly perfect. He just needed a single scoop of Hazmataz. And at that moment, the entire spaceship explodes, and everyone becomes tiny little space bits.
Perfect. That was exactly 60 seconds. So, that was great. Unfortunately, you did mess up the nonsense word.
What
it was
was
not
it?
Hazmataz. It was Hazmatok or Hazmatoke.
Hazmatoke. I wrote down the name, but I was like, all right, I got the name written down. I'll definitely remember. Sorry, Hazmatoke. It was because I was trying to come up with another word for the spaceship, and then I got
whatevs.
Hazmatoke.
Whatevs, fam.
All
That's
right.
good. Okay, I will write down all 3 of your things because I will forget.
Yeah, you better, because these are hard. All right.
I'd better forget?
No.
Or I'd better
I
write
hope
them
you
down.
don't forget.
Okay,
also,
what's my name?
Really creative location. I like that. My location is not near as creative. So your name is B-Law.
B-Law.
However you want to pronounce that. Or however you want to spell that. Your location is somewhere in the Netherlands.
It's just somewhere.
So pick a location in the Netherlands.
Okay, Netherlands.
So, and your nonsense word is affliction.
Affliction?
Affliction.
Affliction.
Yes.
Okay.
You got 60 seconds on
let
the
me just
clock.
arrange my thoughts real quick.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
And go.
Okay, so we're in the Netherlands. This guy named Igor Bila. He's Russian. He's actually came from Russia, and now he's in the Netherlands because, everyone knows that people from the Netherlands are superior at making affliction, which is a type of coffee, surprisingly enough. Affliction is a coffee that actually has banana in it. It actually translates to banana cough in the Netherlands, and because cough and coffee sound similar,
30.
they decided to make a pun. So basically, Igor Bila, he comes to a coffee shop to get some affliction, and he's like, hello, give me your coffee, your best affliction. And the guy from the Netherlands says, oh yeah, you betcha. That's how it is accent. And Igor says, give it to me now, or else. And then he shoots him, and gets him affliction.
All right.
That was awful.
I'm
I'm very bad at this.
I thought it was pretty good. The accents definitely added to it.
Cool. I was like, Russian is the only accent I can kind of do, and so I should probably somehow incorporate it in my thing.
I like your
Also,
idea of voices. I think that's the best way we can spice this up.
we can spice it up with some affliction, which is coffee with banana.
You did still have roughly 6 seconds left though, but
Yeah, I know, but
I like ending the story better than just having it be cut off.
well, I couldn't. I feel like every single time we've done this, it ends it with just someone dying, and then that's the end.
You know what? Next time, my goal is I'm gonna give it a peaceful ending.
Yes, I
maybe
will
not
do the
satisfying, but it'll leave you in a spot that you're happy with.
same. Okay, yeah, I will do the same.
All right.
All right. Segment 5, our final segment, is a short story discussion of the short story Lady or the Tiger. And if you haven't read this before, go read it. It'll be in the show notes. If you don't read it, then You'll miss out on the discussion. Just stop listening now if you want. And then pause it, go read it, come back after you've read it. There won't be anything except for Tendo giving us an outro, and that's it. So,
Or listen anyway.
listen anyway if you really want to. I don't really... It's your life.
So, the lady or the tiger? Question mark.
Yes. First off, I'd like to ask, how did you like the story? Because I love this story.
I thought the story was an intriguing concept.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I really liked the language in it because I don't know
Yes.
when it was written, but it certainly is not of our time, and I like reading stuff like that because it's really interesting to read the language and see how they word things and how they describe things.
Yep.
Because you can still understand it, but it's completely different.
Yeah, I agree. My first question is, on the first page, the way that they describe the king in the story is semi-barbaric. What do you think about that?
Semi-barbaric.
Semi-barbaric, yes.
Well, when I first read it, I had the idea in my mind, and I think that's kind of what is being described. That there's this king who is noble and king-like, but compared to other kings, is a little crazy and a little I don't know, like uses like methods or traditions and like strange things that obviously don't work or shouldn't work. I don't know. That's what I think of when I think of barbaric. A lot of times.
Semi-barbaric.
He's semi-barbaric.
Yeah. I think that the word used to describe it, or the king, is perfect. Because it lets you know that he is semi-barbaric, and so the way that he's going to be doing some things are, in barbarian ways. More aggressive and less, political, and more of the king-like stuff. And saying that he's semi-barbaric is great because as you see that he's getting more and more barbaric by the way that he's displayed, you're like, I don't think this guy is quite actually semi-barbaric. I think he's straight just barbaric. But
Right.
You can feel free to disagree.
No, I agree.
Okay, so I really like this story. And so my next question is, how do you feel about their justice system that the king
The
has?
justice system, I think,
Yes.
is hilarious and flawed, and though in the context of the story sounds poetic, sounds more like an episode of a medieval television show or an anime in which they encounter a kingdom where this is a thing, and then they overcome whatever this terrible system is, because their ruler is insane.
Yeah.
Like a little plot point,
Semi-barbaric.
but that might be messed around with in a short period of a film or television series.
Maybe like an episode of Black Mirror or something.
Right, yeah, definitely. Something like that.
So I think that this system, I think the way that he portrays it, the writer, is really smart, and how he says that the person is proven innocent if he gets the right thing. If he doesn't get the tiger, he gets the lady. But also, they're married on the spot. So even if they're married already, that person is discarded and they have to marry this new one. So it's like this justice that's also broken. It's like, it's immensely flawed, as you mentioned. But also, my main issue is that it kind of puts all crime on the same plate. If it gets brought to the king's attention, it's important enough for you to be brought into this trial, as it says in the text. And so if you steal like a few pieces of gold from the king, that brings his attention to it, so you're gonna get the same treatment as someone who murders 25 people.
I mean,
And
it does mention that like it garners enough for the king to feel it's necessary. So I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I get what you're saying.
I think in the things, it said, well, I think it mentions the fact that if it is brought to his attention, or like if he deems it necessary, which is anything that, and also his daughter this guy who had have the audacity of loving his daughter, that deems him worthy enough to get the same judicial treatment and sentence as someone who killed 20 million people, which that's an over-exaggeration. But I think that the fact... Okay, would you usually like to break in?
I was going to say, I think that's fair. I think for the way it sets up and tells us what kind of, terrible act that is in these times, I don't know. I feel like it's... I would say it's justified. I think the justice system in it is terrible, but, I don't know. To them, that really is on the same level.
Yeah. What I find great about the writing is that you feel a sense of the writer kind of tells you about this in a satirical way of this law of, they're just proven innocent. The way that he phrases it seems to... they're proven innocent if they choose the right one or something. And it's not he's not just listing out the rules. It feels as though he knows that this is absurd and that he says it with a little bit of satire. I don't know if you read it that way, but I feel like that was really well written to feel that way. And the one of my final questions is an obvious one because he even addresses it in the story. What was behind the door?
What was behind the door was lies, and an unfulfilling ending, and speculation without payoff.
Yes, but what do you think was behind the door that the princess was leading her lover toward? Do you think it was the tiger or the lady?
No, actually behind the door, I think there was a small room with a wooden table, and there's a man sitting at the table writing something.
Not an option.
And then his wife comes up behind him and is like, "Oh, it's time for dinner." And he's like, "All right,
oh my goodness.
I won't finish this one because I don't feel like it today."
Tendo. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm being mean. A lot of my favorite films don't have correct endings.
Inception. Inception has one of the best interpretive endings of our time.
Anyway.
But yes, that's the main question, because the title is based off the lady or the tiger. So what do you think it is, based on everything said in the text?
I think it should be the tiger, because in proper short story plot twist shock fashion, it has to end with somebody dying brutally and then it abruptly ending.
Okay. Now, so you feel as though just because it's a short story that it's the lion, but not based off how the person feels about the person.
No, I feel like I feel like the way it described the daughter, it would be the lion, because there's no way she can work around it for her to still be able to marry the man, no matter how determined she is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that it was definitely the tiger that she pointed her toward, because this was a woman that she hates. And also, if you didn't notice, it takes very little time to describe this vicious tiger compared to this whole entire paragraph that's fairly long to describe how much the princess hates this other girl. So
I was gonna say, I actually expected the plot twist to be that the man picks the opposite door that she tells him because he knows her so well. Because it says that he knows her so well that he knows all these things that she will do and she will think and she will say.
Yes.
So I thought it was like he would just have to do the opposite of whatever she says because he'd know that she'd pick the lion. But since the ending is never described, whether the lion or the lady, we can't really say that that's what should have happened.
Yeah. In regards to the ending, this is my last question. Okay, where do you think the ending should have ended? If that makes sense. Because I don't think that he should have had all that stuff describing, this is how you should think about it. I think it should have just ended after the line that said, he turned, and with a firm and rapid step, he walked across the empty space. Every heart stopped beating. Every breath was held. Every eye was fixed immovably upon that man. Without the slightest hesitation, he went to the door on the right and opened it. I think that's where it should have ended. Because with the title of The Lady or the Tiger, it's already implied that you're supposed to be thinking about that.
But then I feel like short stories do that too much. Like, a cliffhanger, just a cliffhanger that you know won't be resolved. It seems inherently lazy, and I feel like if they don't explain that
in this part, okay, with the thing about short stories is the fact that the reason they do that is because you can imagine a world beyond the short story. Because short stories are very difficult to write because it has to set up a bunch of things, it has to have a payoff of a bunch of things, and I think that this story would have ended better if he didn't just say, now, the point of every story is, did the tiger come out of the store to the lady? And then goes on for 3 paragraphs. I think it should have ended with, and opened it. Done. Because with the title, it leaves you to think, and you can take into account everything that's happened in the story, and then make a conclusion by yourself. I agree, or I don't actually agree, because I think that it is a cliche that short stories end like this, but I think the reason that it does that is because every time I finish a short story that ends abruptly like that, it always has a punch to the gut, and it's always powerful and effective. To me, at least. But you may have... I understand why you would feel that way.
Right.
It was the same with The Welt, which was another short story that we discussed on our other podcast. So, but that's also one that you didn't like. I think that this one actually has a lot of parallels with that. But do you have anything else to say about this story?
I don't.
Okay, well, that concludes segment 5. So, as always, we hope that you enjoyed. And if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review or rating on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to it from, that would be awesome, and it really will help us out. But without anything else to say, Tendo, will you please take us out?
Yes. So, you're walking out of the Congress building, or whatever major political structure that your country is, not, I don't want to say controlled under, viewed under. You just had a great meeting with the wonderful gentlemen and ladies that make all the important decisions in your country, and you're entering a limousine of sorts, and next to you is perhaps the most important leader of your area. For our sake, we'll say the president of the United States is sitting next to you, and don't picture any person, but rather the idea of the president. And as you enter the limousine, they mention to you that they'd like to ride and speak with you further. And of course, you are obligated to say yes, of course. And you're actually quite giddy with excitement. And as you enter the vehicle, you pull out your tea bag, and the president grabs your arm and leans in close and says, never make your drink before you ride.
Never make your drink before you drive?
Yeah.
No, the thing is, make your drink before you drive.
Make your drink before you drive, not while you're driving. But don't do that other one either, because don't drink while you drive, because then you might spill it on yourself.
Yeah, that could be
either
an
way.
issue.
You've been excommunicated. Is the moral of the story.
PSA. Segmented FM. Patreon.com/segmentedfm. Support us.
Don't have quadruplets. Don't try to have quadruplets.
Don't have
Bad idea.
quadruplets while getting struck by lightning. That is a very bad idea.